All right, buckle up, everyone, because we're about to dive headfirst into a world that's as fascinating as it is often misunderstood. We're talking about the lives of professional dominatrixes. And today, we've got some incredible insights straight from the source, from an experienced pro-dom who's laid it all out, not in some textbook, thank goodness, but in a document full of real-world advice for those looking to, well, enter the profession.
Yeah, this isn't some theoretical mumbo-jumbo. This is the real deal.
Exactly. So our mission today, we're going to uncover what it really takes to thrive as a pro-dom, beyond the stereotypes and right into the nitty-gritty reality.
And one thing that really struck me right off the bat is how she just dismantles this whole one-size-fits-all dominatrix myth.
It's like she's saying, forget those Hollywood cliches.
Exactly. She really emphasizes the sheer diversity within the BDSM community, making it clear that there's room for all sorts of personalities and appearances. She even says, what makes you unique is what attracts your clientele, which I thought was brilliant.
So whether you're more of a nurturing coddler type or a strict alpha or somewhere in between, there's a place for you.
Absolutely. It's about owning what makes you you.
And I love how she ties this into the core principle of inclusivity in BDSM.
Yeah, it challenges those rigid societal norms, right? And creates a safe space for exploration on both sides, for both the dom and the sub.
Totally. So, okay, let's get down to brass tacks. Building a pro-dom business. Now, this document outlines two main paths, working at a dungeon or going independent. What are the pros and cons we should be aware of?
Well, think of a dungeon like a regular 9 to 5. It offers a certain safety net, resources are readily available, and you have a built-in client base.
But I'm guessing there's a flip side to that coin.
Of course. The document mentions burnout as a real risk with a high volume of clients. And she even touches on some ethical concerns with certain business practices you might encounter.
So going independent is more like being your own boss, right? Setting your own rates, your own schedule, but you're also hustling for those clients.
You got it. You're essentially an entrepreneur. So self-promotion is key. And having a clear financial goal in mind is essential.
Now, this document was written a while back, and the landscape for online marketing has changed dramatically.
It definitely has. She talks about the importance of having a strong online presence, especially in a world where platforms like Backpage are gone.
So where do aspiring pro-doms even begin? What are the essentials for a killer online presence these days?
She really emphasizes a clean, easy-to-navigate website, and mentions sites like Arrows as potential advertising platforms, though she acknowledges the evolving landscape and the limitations there.
Right, because those platforms have definitely had their share of issues.
Absolutely. And she also offers some really great tips on crafting a compelling bio, avoiding cliches, and instead focusing on what makes you unique. Like, instead of saying, I'm a strict mistress, try something more evocative, something like, I'll guide you to your limits and show you the beauty in surrender.
Ooh, that's good. That paints such a vivid picture.
Right. It's about capturing the essence of your style and enticing potential clients to want to learn more.
And then there's the whole social media game, which is a whole other beast. How do you strike that balance between attracting clients and protecting your privacy?
It's a tightrope walk, for sure. She suggests creating a persona that reflects your professional brand while still maintaining those boundaries. So think carefully about what information you share and how you present yourself online, because your online presence is an extension of your business.
Speaking of business, let's talk money. How much can a pro-dom realistically expect to earn, both in a dungeon setting and independently? Does she give any insights into market rates?
She does. She actually breaks down typical hourly rates for both settings and even provides some, back-of-the-napkin math on potential monthly earnings.
Okay, so give us the goods. What are we talking about here?
Well, keep in mind, these are just averages. Your individual income will depend on factors like your experience, your niche, and how effectively you market yourself.
It's like any other business. The more you put in, the more you can potentially get out.
Precisely. And that brings us to a critical point that she emphasizes throughout the document. Safety.
Yeah, she's adamant about thoroughly vetting clients before even considering a session.
It goes beyond just asking for a name and number. She advocates for getting verifiable information, like requiring photo of a driver's license, checking references with established practitioners, and being extra cautious with anyone who seems evasive or hesitant to share basic details.
That makes sense. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable position.
Exactly. And this focus on safety extends beyond just verifying identities. It also includes setting clear boundaries during those initial interactions with potential clients. She actually used to be more open to casual conversations early in her career, but she found that it could blur lines and lead to unrealistic expectations.
So it's about maintaining that professional distance from the start.
Precisely. As the Dom, you're in a position of power, and it's crucial to protect yourself, both physically and emotionally. She even suggests avoiding sharing excessive personal details, unless the client willingly offers them first. Remember, this is a business transaction, and clear boundaries are essential for a safe and successful experience for everyone involved.
All right, so we've covered setting up shop, marketing yourself online, and the importance of prioritizing safety. But what about the heart of it, all the sessions themselves? What kind of wisdom does she offer about, mastering the art of domination?
But one of the first things she emphasizes is really understanding your client's desires and setting crystal clear expectations right from the get-go. It's about having an open and honest conversation about their limits, their fantasies, and what they hope to get out of the experience.
So even within this power dynamic, there's a lot of negotiation involved.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where both parties feel safe, respected, and empowered.
And of course, safety is paramount throughout the entire session.
Absolutely. She stresses the importance of safe words, responsible edge play, and the absolute right to say no at any point, for any reason.
It's a good reminder that even within a BDSM context, consent is non-negotiable.
Couldn't agree more. And beyond just the technical aspects of domination, she really delves into the psychological and emotional elements at play. She talks about the importance of cultivating a powerful presence, mastering nonverbal communication, and using your energy to craft a truly transformative experience for your client.
So it's not just about knowing how to tie a knot or use a flogger. It's about understanding the psychology behind power exchange.
You got it. And she even touches on the potential for personal growth and self-discovery that can come from BDSM, for both the Dom and the sub. She suggests that when approached with intention and awareness, it can be a path to exploring boundaries, confronting fears, and ultimately becoming more empowered in all aspects of life.
That's fascinating. So it sounds like this work requires a lot of self-awareness and a deep understanding of human psychology.
Absolutely. And she stresses that this level of understanding doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, practice, and a willingness to constantly learn and evolve.
So this isn't a job for the faint of heart. It demands dedication, resilience, and a genuine passion for the work.
You said it. And speaking of passion, one thing that really stands out is her emphasis on finding your niche. It's not enough to just be a dominatrix, she says. You need to figure out what makes you special, what sets you apart from the crowd.
She's encouraging aspiring pro-doms to really think about the kind of experience they want to create, what unique energy they bring to the table.
Exactly. She even suggests experimenting with different styles of domination, from being completely in control to taking on more of a service role, to find what feels most authentic and fulfilling.
It's like any creative profession, really. You have to find your voice, your style, your unique way of expressing yourself.
And when you do, that's when the magic happens. That's when you can truly thrive as a pro-dom. It's really interesting how she delves into this whole concept of energy exchange in BDSM.
Yeah, that caught my attention too. It sounds kind of, esoteric.
It is a bit, but she makes it really practical. She argues that a dom's energy, her presence, can really make or break the feel of a session.
So it's not just about the physical stuff. It's about the vibe you're putting out there.
Exactly. She talks about cultivating this strong, grounded presence, being totally present in the moment, and using your energy to create a specific atmosphere, whether it's intense and demanding or playful and sensual.
Almost like a performer in a way.
Yeah, kind of. You're creating an experience, and your energy is a huge part of that.
And I think that ties in really well with what she says about building a strong personal brand.
Totally. It's not enough to just be good at the techniques. You need to know what makes you stand out, what kind of experience you offer that no one else can add.
She even uses the analogy of a restaurant. You wouldn't just open a generic eatery, you'd specialize.
Right, you'd create a unique ambiance, a specific cuisine, build a reputation for something special.
So maybe you become known for your intense psychological domination, or your playful use of sensory deprivation, or your amazing nurturing mommy dome vibes.
Exactly. It's about finding your niche and owning it.
And once you have that brand identity, it's so much easier to market yourself. Attract the right clients.
Right. Speaking of attracting clients, she gets into some really specific advice about using photos.
Ooh, this is where it gets juicy.
She actually recommends a mix of professional shots and more casual selfies.
Really? I would have thought professional all the way.
It's counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But she argues that selfies actually perform really well. because they feel more authentic, more relatable.
So it's like giving potential clients a glimpse behind the curtain, making you more approachable.
Exactly. And having a variety of images is key.
Yeah.
Showcasing different sides of your style. Maybe some in lingerie, some in a power suit, some with a playful smirk, some with a serious gaze.
Giving them a taste of what a session with you would be like.
And of course, she's very clear about protecting your privacy. Watermark those photos. Be selective about where you share them.
That balancing act between visibility and discretion.
Right.
Now, one thing that I'm sure weighs heavily on a lot of pro-doms' minds is disclosing this profession to friends and family.
Yeah, that's a tough one. She acknowledges that it's a super personal decision, no right or wrong answer. But she advocates for honesty and transparency, arguing that being upfront can actually strengthen relationships.
So it's about finding those people in your life who are truly supportive.
Exactly. And those who aren't, well, maybe they're not meant to be in your inner circle.
Powerful message right there. You don't have to apologize for who you are or what you do.
Absolutely. And she also talks about finding partners who are respectful and understanding of your work.
I imagine that can be a challenge with all the stigma around sex work.
It can be. But she emphasizes that you deserve to be with someone who celebrates your choices, not someone who judges or belittles them.
Finding a partner who sees your work as an empowering and fulfilling part of you.
Exactly. And speaking of empowerment, she gets into the transformative potential of BDSM. For both the dom and the sub.
So she sees it as more than just a physical or sexual thing.
Way more. She talks about how it can be a path to self-discovery, personal growth, even healing.
How so?
Well, for the sub, it can be about exploring that submissive side, surrendering control, facing their fears in a safe environment.
And for the dom?
It can be about stepping into your power, owning your sexuality, learning to wield authority responsibly.
She even talks about how it can help you understand yourself better and your relationship with power.
Exactly. She encourages pro-doms to really examine their motivations, be mindful of the power dynamics, and always act with integrity.
So it's not about abusing power, it's about using it responsibly.
Absolutely. And she even mentions how being a dom can make you better at being present in other areas of your life.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
She says that the intensity of a BDSM session, the focus it takes to create a safe and fulfilling experience, it can actually train you to be more present and mindful in your everyday life.
Like a form of mindfulness training.
Exactly. And that ability to be present is so valuable, right? In your relationships, your work, even just your own internal experience.
Totally. Now, she doesn't shy away from the practical side of things either, like the actual tools of the trade.
Oh yeah, she gets into the nitty-gritty. Ropes, cuffs, floggers, canes, even things like, puppy pads.
Well, I think we can all use our imaginations there.
Right. She emphasizes that being a pro-dom is a business, and like any business, it requires investment.
Time, money, energy.
And she also talks about diversifying your income stream.
Beyond just in-person sessions.
Exactly. She suggests exploring phone sex services, content subscription platforms.
Like OnlyFans.
Right. It's about being adaptable, entrepreneurial, finding multiple ways to reach clients and build a sustainable business.
And she's very realistic about the financial side of things, acknowledging that it's not always glamorous or lucrative.
It's like any profession, there are ups and downs.
So you gotta have those realistic expectations going in.
Exactly. And always act with integrity.
In everything you do.
In your interactions with clients, how you manage your business.
Building that reputation based on trust and quality.
Right. And she actually shares a personal story about a time when she compromised her integrity, even in a small way.
What happened?
She agreed to a session with a client she wasn't totally comfortable with, just because she needed the money.
And how'd that go?
Not well, of course. The session was awkward, uncomfortable. She ended up feeling worse than if she had just said no.
It's a good reminder that compromising your values never really works out in the long run.
And that maintaining your integrity is crucial for your professional success and your personal well-being.
Now, one of the things that really struck me was how she talks about how this work has made her better at being present.
Yeah, it's almost like mindfulness training, she says.
I'm curious, how does that work?
Well, she says that the intensity of a session, the need to be completely focused on the client's needs and safety, it forces her to be totally present in the moment.
No room for distractions or worrying about other stuff?
Exactly. And she says that ability to be present has carried over into other parts of her life.
So the skills she learned in the dungeon are helping her in everyday life.
Precisely. And she encourages other pro-doms to cultivate that same sense of presence.
It's a great reminder that the things we learn in one area of life can often benefit us in others.
Absolutely. And it really speaks to what this whole deep dive is about, exploring this world that's often hidden, challenging our assumptions, and finding unexpected insights that we can apply to our own lives.
It's not just about understanding the life of a Pro-Domme,
It's about understanding ourselves
our relationship with power.
and the possibilities for growth and transformation.
When we step outside of our comfort zones, it's pretty amazing how she frames this whole thing, BDSM, as a journey of self-discovery, not just for the client, but for the Pro-Domme too.
Right. And she's honest about it. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses.
There will be tough clients for sure. Challenging situations, moments of doubt.
Exactly. But the rewards can be incredible, she says, both personally and professionally.
Finding that balance, right, between the tough stuff and the good stuff.
Yeah, and having the resilience to keep going when things get rough.
She also cautions against getting caught up in the illusion of glamour that sometimes surrounds this profession.
Yeah, the whole dominatrix in a luxury dungeon dripping with diamonds image.
Exactly. She reminds us that it's a job.
It's a job, yeah.
And like any job, there are those not-so-glamorous moments.
Paperwork, marketing, client management, all the behind-the-scenes stuff.
So it's good to stay grounded, have realistic expectations.
And find joy in the process, even when it's not all champagne and roses.
Now, she keeps coming back to this idea of integrity.
Right, being ethical in everything you do.
In how you treat clients, how you run your business.
Building a reputation based on trust and quality, not on, taking advantage of people.
Exactly. And she even shares a story, a personal one, about a time when she kind of compromised her own integrity.
Yeah, even in a small way, it had consequences.
What happened?
She agreed to a session with a client she wasn't totally comfortable with.
Ugh.
Just because she needed the money.
And I'm guessing that didn't go so well.
It didn't. The session was just awkward, uncomfortable. She felt worse than if she had just said no from the start.
It's like a reminder that compromising your values, it never really leads anywhere good.
Right. Maintaining your integrity is essential for your professional success and your well-being.
One of the most interesting things she talks about, though, is how this work, being a Pro-Domme, has made her better at being present in life.
Yeah, she describes it as a kind of mindfulness training.
Mindfulness training? How so?
Well, she says the intensity of a session, the need to be hyper-focused on the client's needs and safety, it forces her to be completely in the moment.
No time to let your mind wander.
Exactly. And she says that spilled over into other areas of her life.
Interesting. So the skills she's learned in the dungeon are helping her in everyday life.
Precisely. And she encourages other Pro-Dommes to cultivate that same sense of presence, both in and out of session.
It's a powerful takeaway, isn't it, that the things we learn in one area of life can benefit us in so many others.
Absolutely. And it really gets to the heart of what this whole deep dive has been about. Exploring a world that's often misunderstood, challenging our assumptions, and discovering unexpected insights.
Insights that we can apply to our own lives, no matter what we do.
Exactly. It's not just about understanding the life of a Pro-Domme. It's about understanding ourselves, our relationship with power, and the potential for growth and transformation that exists when we step outside our comfort zones.
So well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey, everyone. And remember, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deeper.